A man sat on a cold street corner. 7 months. Same spot. Every single day, thousands of people walked past him. Not one stopped. Until she did. And she didn't offer him money. She didn't offer him food. She looked straight at him and said, "You notice things, don't you?" It wasn't even a question. What happened next didn't just change his life. It will change how you see yours. James was 44 years old. Not lazy, not careless, just unlucky, and then broken by it. 2 years earlier, the warehouse where he worked for 11 years shut down overnight. No warning, no plan, just a letter and a locked door. After that, things fell apart slowly. First the savings, then the flat, then the feeling that any of it could come back. By the time he ended up on the corner of Canal Street in Manchester, James had stopped believing he had anything left to offer the world. He sat with a paper cup. He watched the city move around him. And every day, the city moved around him like he wasn't there. He had become invisible. And the worst part? He had started to believe that was all he deserved. Claire walked fast. She always did. Every morning, big bag, phone in hand, coffee in the other. James had seen her pass his corner every single day for months. She never looked up. But that Tuesday she stopped. No wallet, no coins. She just stood there, looking at him, really looking. James met her eyes slowly. Unsure. "You're here every morning," she said. "Yes," he replied. "I've watched you. The way your eyes move. You're not just sitting here." She paused. "You're watching everything." James didn't know what to say. No one had ever said that to him before. "What do you see right now?" she asked. "Honestly, tell me." James looked around. It was automatic. Natural. Like breathing. That coffee shop across the road. Every day at 8:15, the line gets too long. People leave. They don't want to wait. That shop loses at least 20 customers every single morning and doesn't even know it. Claire didn't blink. Go on. The bookshop on the corner. They change their window display every Monday. But the lighting hits the glass wrong. There's a reflection. People slow down, but they can't see the books clearly. So they keep walking. One light moved. Maybe 10 more people come in every day. Silence. Claire stared at him. Then she said something that stopped him completely. "I pay thousands of pounds for people to tell me exactly what you just said." James laughed quietly. "I'm nobody," he said. And he meant it. Completely. Claire sat down on the low wall next to him. That surprised him more than anything she had said. "You're an observer," she told him. "That is a real skill. A valuable one. And right now, you have more of it than most people I've ever hired." She reached into her bag, pulled out a small notebook and a pen, placed them in his hands. "This week, write down everything you notice on this street. Patterns, problems, things that feel wrong. Bring it to me next Tuesday." James looked down at the notebook. His hands were rough, dirty, shaking just slightly. "Why would you trust me?" he asked. "You don't know me." Claire stood up. 3 years ago, I was sleeping in my sister's car after my business collapsed. Someone gave me a chance, not because I had everything together, but because they saw something real in me. She buttoned her coat. "I'm doing the same for you." And she walked away. That night, James sat under the canal shelter. He opened the notebook. He felt like a fraud, like a man playing a role he had no right to play. But he started writing anyway. The bus stop with no shelter where people stood in the rain. The restaurant menu placed too high in the window. People had to tilt their heads just to read it. The gym with the broken door buzzer. New members would ring, get no answer, and leave before they ever went inside. 6 pages. He filled 6 pages without even trying. And when he finally stopped writing, he noticed something. For the first time in months, the heaviness in his chest felt lighter. Not gone, but lighter. Because his mind had been busy doing something it was always meant to do. 1 week later, Claire read every word. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she looked up. "James, this is good. This is genuinely good." She hired him that day. Part-time. Small hourly rate. Enough to access a housing support program. Enough for clean clothes. Enough for a phone. Enough to feel human again. His title? Community Behavior Analyst. He had never heard those words used about himself before. He said them quietly on the bus ride home, just to hear what they sounded like. They sounded real. 3 months later, James stood at the front of a meeting room. 6 business owners sat around a table. He presented his findings. Simple, clear, no jargon, just honest observations from the street. By the time he finished, 2 of the business owners were already asking Claire how they could bring him to their own areas. After the room cleared, Claire stopped him near the door. How do you feel? She asked. James thought about it. Really thought. Like I was always holding something, he said slowly. I just didn't know it had any worth. Claire nodded once. You never lost your value, James. You just stopped believing you had any. On the way home, James walked past his old corner. A young woman sat there now. Head down, paper cup, eyes on the ground. He recognized that feeling. He had lived inside it for a long time. James stopped. He reached into his bag, took out a spare notebook. He always carried one now. He placed it carefully in her hands. She looked up, confused. You notice things? He asked gently. She didn't answer, just looked at him. Everyone does, he said. But not everyone knows it matters yet. Here is what James never knew, until someone made him see it. He was never empty. He was never worthless. He was never without something to give. He just needed one person to point at what he already had. And that is true for you too. Right now, today, you are carrying something real. Maybe it's the way you listen when no one else does. Maybe it's the way you see problems others walk straight past. Maybe it's patience, or creativity, or the quiet strength you've built just by surviving hard days. You don't need to wait until everything is fixed. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need to wait until someone gives you permission. Start with what you have, right where you are, even if it feels small. Because value is not something the world gives you. It is something you choose to show. You are not invisible. You are not finished. You are not too late. You are just one step away from beginning.